Hello, Jay. Thank you for submitting your videos to fixyourgame.com. This is PGA professional Brant Casbaum speaking. Thanks also for listening to us on the Golf Smarter podcast. The promotion that we're running with the Golf Smarter podcast entitles you to 2 lessons for the price of 1. So we're going to talk about a few things to work on today, and then after you get a chance to practice them for a little while, feel free to submit a second set of videos, and we'll take a look again and see how your progress is going after you work on these changes for a little bit, and that won't cost you any extra. First, we're going to start out with the face-on view, and we're going to talk about 3 things today that will really help to eliminate your slice. The first thing that we're going to talk about is your grip, and especially we're going to look at your left hand here. If you look close, you can see that there's a little V that's created by your thumb and forefinger. And if I look here, this V points up to your inside of your left shoulder. Ideally, you want to have your hand rotated over on the club so your fingers are under the club, and that V should point up here to your right shoulder. Looking at this example video on the right-hand side of the screen, this gentleman is yours truly. You can see that with my left hand, I've got it rotated over on the club, so it would be rotated to your right so that this V that's created by my thumb and forefinger points up in this direction, and that as I look down I can see the logo on my golf glove, as well as I can see 2 or 3 knuckles there on the outside of my left hand, whereas if you look down you can probably only see 1 knuckle there. If you were wearing a glove, you probably wouldn't be able to see the logo of that glove. Basically, this is allowing us to grip the club in the fingers of each hand, which allows for maximum flexibility in our wrists and forearms and allows us to properly release the club. If we have it gripped in the palm of the hand, which it looks like you do, that limits the flexibility in our wrists and forearms, which limits how we can release the club as it swings through, which leads the club face to be open, which causes a slice. There really is a snowball effect in the golf swing, so this is the starting cause of a slice, and there are some other things that you do that we'll talk about here in a second that contribute to the slice, but this is a key starting point, and everything kind of snowballs from there. So you want to rotate your left hand a little bit to the right on your club so your fingers are underneath the club, and that there's that V that's created by your thumb and forefinger that should point up here to your right shoulder. As part of the written part of the lesson, I've attached some links to some YouTube videos. One of them shows a step-by-step demonstration and some close-up pictures of getting the proper grip on the club, and this will help you to be able to square that club face at impact, help to eliminate that slice. The second thing from this position that I want to talk to you about is you look very wide with your stance. And you see, if you just draw a line here from the outside of each of your feet, you can see that you're quite a bit wider than shoulder width. And looking at this example here, my feet here are just about shoulder width apart, and I'm hitting a driver in this video, whereas you're hitting, it looks like a middle iron. So I would narrow your stance a little bit, 2-3 inches with each foot. That'll help you to make a better rotation and help you to swing the club using your big muscles and not so much with your arms and hands. So narrow that stance a little bit. You'll be able to rotate a little better without having to without losing your balance. Now we're going to look at the video from the other angle here, the down the line angle, and we're going to talk about a couple of things in relation to your posture, and also you have what's called an over the top or outside in swing path that we're going to talk about as well. First, looking at your posture, you can see that your spine is curved up here through your upper spine or through your shoulders. I like to see you straighten out your spine. You can see the curvature there. If I draw a line down my spine, you see my spine is pretty straight. And also your weight is back set on your heels. So I'd like to see you stand a little taller, lean a little bit farther forward so your arms can just hang down naturally. You can see your weight's back on your heels and you're reaching out for the club. Whereas if you see here, my arms are just hanging down naturally and I don't have to reach out for the ball or reach out for the club. This way it lets the length of the club determine how far away from the ball to stand. That way I can keep my posture constant with every club in the bag, and that's the only way I know how to be consistent. If you have a different setup or a different stance with each club, that's inherently inconsistent. So we want to have a good straight spine. You want to feel like you're tilting forward by bending at the hips and not so much at the waist. So you want to feel like you're pushing your hips or your rear end back and bending forward. You're not slouching forward over your belt buckle. You're pushing your belt buckle back. That will help you to keep your spine straight as you swing the club. Let me get rid of these lines, and I'm going to show you an example of your outside-in swing path. We're going to advance your swing up to the top of your swing here. We're going to stop right there. And I'm going to draw a line here. Ideally, you want your hands and the club to swing in this direction. I'm going to draw a little arrow. But let's see, it looks to me like you're swinging the club more in this direction, and that means your club is going outside in. Your club is swinging along this line, which is left of your target, as opposed to swinging along this line, which would be towards your target. I would guess that your ball starts well left of your target and then slices back towards your target, that your divots point well left of your target. And a lot of that is because you're swinging the club in this direction as opposed to swinging it down in this direction. So let's advance your swing here frame by frame and see where you're swinging it. You can see right from here, look at your hands moving in this direction instead of downward in this direction. This causes that club to go outside of the target line. You can see here the club is moving more in this direction than it is in this direction. Let's take a look at the example here, and we can see how we'll draw the arrows here too and see where they're moving. Let's see, are they moving in this direction or are they moving in this direction? Let's do my advanced frame by frame and see what we can see here. And as the club starts down, you can see my hands and the butt of the club are moving downward in that direction, as opposed to, you can see how close they are to the line here, whereas in this example you can see they've moved well away from that downward arrow. The other thing that will help you to get the club to swing along the proper line is if you keep your right elbow close to your hip. It's hard to see from this angle, but I would guess that your right elbow is separated from your right hip, whereas you can see here that my right elbow is tucked right into my right hip, and that allows the club to swing along this direction and not come outside in or across. So those are three main things that I want you to work on from today, and it starts with a grip. It's there truly is a snowball effect as we swing the golf club. So we've got to have a good, proper grip on the club that allows us to release the club properly and keep that club face square. By gripping it in the palm of your hand, the club face is going to remain open, and therefore it's going to cause a slice. And so everything you do after that is only going to contribute to the slice. And it does seem counterintuitive because we talk here in this video, you're swinging from right to left, and that just makes the ball slice more. So people have the tendency to, if their ball goes right, they want to swing to the left. And when that's the opposite, that just makes the ball slice more. So number one, we want to work on your grip. Get the club gripped in the fingers of each hand so that V that's created by your thumb and forefinger points up to your right shoulder. Number two, with your posture, I want to see you stand a little taller, feel that weight over the middle part of your feet. The good athletic golf posture is very similar to setup and stances that you see in other sports, whether it be a linebacker stance or if you were guarding somebody in basketball. You never see anybody back on their heels and slouched over. Everyone in those other sports are weights over the middle part of their feet. Spine is straight. You're in a balanced athletic position in that stance. Then third, once we get into the swing, we want to feel like that we don't swing over the top. That means the club is kind of moving in this direction instead of moving in this direction on the way down, we want to feel like we're swinging towards center field. If this line, if we're standing on home plate when we hit balls here, we want to feel like we're swinging towards center field and not swinging towards left field. And be sure to look at the written part. There's several links to some YouTube videos that will give you some easy-to-use drills that don't involve any complicated training aids or complicated or funky drills to help you learn these points. If there are any questions, please email me at info@fixyourgame.com. Thanks, Jay. Have a great day.